Hi everyone, I'm Lubomira and thank you for joining me. If you're visiting for the first time, welcome to my channel, and if you are returning, it's so great to have you back. It's been a while since I last posted. I hope you've all been keeping safe and well. I'll get into why I haven't been around much in a future video, but it hasn't been anything serious. In fact, it's a little fun and has to do with an addition in my studio. Today I'm excited to announce that I'm starting a new series on my channel inspired by all the new releases lately. September is, after all, Stamptember, and to be honest, I get a little overwhelmed. Or shall I say, my wallet gets a little overwhelmed. I feel like I don't give my stash enough credit when all the new stuff comes out. I try to use the 3 project rule when buying a product. If I can make at least 3 projects using a new product, I can put it into my cart guilt-free. But I want to raise that bar a little. Here's my challenge. I know most of us can make 3 projects with a product, but can you make projects stemming across different seasons? I know a product is really worth it when I can use it in at least 2 different seasons. So that's what the series is about, taking a look at my stash and thinking outside the box to create, say, a Halloween card and a Christmas card using at least one product that overlaps. And when I'm talking about products, I'm referring to stamps and stencils, since those are usually designed to fit into specific occasions. By doing this, I'm hoping to consider my purchases more wisely and to give more value to the stash I already have. I hope this inspires you to take a look at what you have in a different light too. But don't feel bad if you're drawn to something that may not fit the 2-season rule. After all, if it brings joy and healing to you or a loved one, it can't be wrong. Let's get into today's video. It may be a little longer than my usual ones, but I am making 3 cards, and feel free to fast forward when you need to. If you like this video and would like to see more like it, remember to like and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of the crafty goodness. I'm using the same stencil in all 3 projects. This stencil is one of my favorites from Polkadoodles called Park Life. I'll be combining it with other stamps for each example. To start off, I'm going to create 3 different backgrounds. In the first, I'm just laying the stencil down on white cardstock and applying Distress Oxide inks. I used the colors Scattered Straw, Wild Honey, Ripe Persimmon, and Festive Berries. For all the products I used, please see the description below. In the second example, I placed a stencil on an already blended background, also using Distress Oxide inks in the colors Twisted Citron, Peacock Feathers, and Wilted Violet, and then stenciled black soot over it all. And in my final background, I applied a mixture of Ranger texture paste and white acrylic paint to the stencil over a gray card panel. I did this because I only had the translucent texture paste on hand and I wanted a solid white color. That's the nice part about this texture paste. You can tint it. It can be a little difficult to gauge how tinted the paste is using white paint since it is white too. But I usually just put equal parts of paste and paint to achieve a solid color. I didn't mix the glitter into the paste because I find it doesn't sparkle as much when using paint. This does take some time to dry. I left mine for about 2 hours with a fan in the room, so keep that in mind when you use this technique. My first card is a bright and cheerful one using just a stenciled background. I'm using Simon Says Mixed Greetings 1 stamp set for this one. Off camera, I die cut a little stitched rectangle from black cardstock. I prepped it with an anti-static pouch before stamping it with Versamark ink and stamping the "You Are My Sunshine" sentiment. I sprinkled some white embossing powder on it and set it with my heat gun. The card came together really quickly after that. I attached the stenciled panel to a card base using liquid glue and left it to dry for a bit under my mini Misty. After everything was dry, I mounted the sentiment to the front of my card panel with foam tape. Lastly, I jazzed up the sentiment with some Nouveau crystal drops in the colors Dandelion Yellow, Ripe Pumpkin, and Red Berry. The first card is done, and now for the next one. In this example, I'm using the layered ink blended panel to create a Halloween card. I'm using Hero Art Stamp and Cut Set Witch Feet. First, I stamped the striped witch feet using some Black Intense ink on purple cardstock. I die cut them off camera, and then using a gold gel pen, I color in the buckles on the booties. I also die cut a large stitched panel from a black cardstock and an incomplete circle from my stencil panel. The circle will be off center against the edge when the card is complete. I stamped the Happy Haunting sentiment from the same set using Versamark ink and heat emboss it in gold powder. Off camera, I die cut the sentiment using a banner strip die. When all my elements are complete, I assemble the card by first attaching the black panel to my card base using a liquid glue. Then I mount my circle using foam tape. Next, I take my strip and attach it towards the bottom of my circle and snip off the leftover using scissors. To help me, off camera, I traced the curve of the circle on the back of my strip as a guide. I attach my sentiment using foam tape and then add my booties. Lastly, I add some sparkle to the booties using a shimmer pen and some black Nuvo drops to my background. That's it for this card. My final card is a Christmas one, and I use the Our Home to Yours stamp set from Pinkfresh Studios. I start by stamping the houses with Hero Arts ink. I use the colors Raspberry Jam, Red Royal, and Soft Granite. The dye ink appears blotchy at first, but after a few applications to get a nice crisp image, they do dry solid. To add a glossy finish, I add a layer of clear embossing powder on top of the houses. I also embossed the sentiment Tidings of Comfort and Joy from that same stamp set in white embossing powder on a black cardstock. After die cutting all my pieces off camera, I trim my glitter panel by cutting 1/4 inch from the top and bottom and then slicing it down the middle to create 2 narrow panels. I only use one and save the other for another card. I round the corners of my panel and the bottom corners of my card base to give it a finished look. Then I position my glitter panel off center of my card base and attach it using foam tape. Next, I mount my houses, tucking some behind one another and giving them different levels of dimension with foam tape. Lastly, I trim my sentiment strip using scissors and place it beneath the houses using more foam tape. I don't want to take away from the sparkle of the accent panel, so I don't add any other embellishments, and that completes my third project. So what did you think? Which card is your favorite? Do you have some stencils in your own stash that you can use in a variety of ways across different seasons? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again really soon. Bye!